The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
What do you think? Just one day after President Joe Biden drops out of the presidential race, the ball is rolling quickly. We've heard from politicians, we've heard from delegates, but what about the voters?
Yeah, what do San Antonians think of all this? Courtney Friedman went to find out and hear what message local voters have for the delegates who are about to make a critical choice.
A single letter that sent American minds spinning.
I would have to say probably relief. Also some sadness because I'm an older person myself.
And it was expected. I think it was a really wise decision.
The pressure had been building for a while.
As President Joe Biden removes himself from the presidential ticket and endorses Vice President Kamala Harris, San Antonio voters are split.
I think she's in a good position to do so. I'm interested to see who she's going to pick for her VP.
I would like to hear from some other prominent Democrats, some younger people, and just see a democratic process play out before the convention.
Experts also with separate ideas. In heading around the city asking voter opinions, we coincidentally bumped into Trinity political science professor Austin Bussing.
Is that what you are hoping happens, that she just rises to the top immediately, or are you wanting to hear from other people?
You would need some supply of serious potential challengers that I just don't really think is there. And so I know there's some desire for an open convention or something like that, but I don't think that's something that's going to happen.
But government professor Dr. David Smith leans the other way.
If I were a delegate or if I were part of the Democratic Party leadership, I'm not, to be fair, I would want to have a brief campaign session.
What everyone does agree on, that the delegates who now hold the power of choice need to look towards voters.
What the consensus of what the people truly want, it does matter.
That's their purpose, is to listen to we the people.
One of the biggest complaints we have in politics, whether it be at the national or the state or the local level, is transparency. And so if you want to show that you are empowering those voters to get their support and to get their faith and trust, you want to make sure that they have chosen that candidate.
In a pivotal, historic moment, that the people truly come first. Courtney Friedman, KSAT 12 News.
Mayor Ron Nierenberg says he plans to support Vice President Harris as the Democratic nominee for president. The mayor posted on X saying, quote, "There is no better candidate to defend our freedoms against Trump's warped vision for America. I will be proud to cast my vote as a national delegate for Kamala Harris."
And we do really want to know what you think. This is one way you can tell us. What are your thoughts on President Biden's announcement? In a poll on KSAT.com, we asked, quote, "Will President Biden's move increase Democratic chances of winning against Trump?" End quote. 66% of you right now say yes, 34% say no. You see that QR code in the corner? You can hit that to vote.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts. So now it is all about what happens at the Democratic National Convention next month. Well, coming up in our KSAT Q&A about 6:30, we talk about Texas delegates, how their role has changed now that President Biden has dropped out of the race. That's coming up in just a few minutes at 6:30.
And today, Vice President Kamala Harris actually made her first public appearance since President Joe Biden's announcement at an NCAA event in D.C. this morning. Harris spoke of the president's legacy in the wake of his announcement that he would not seek re-election.
His honesty, his integrity, his commitment to his faith and his family, his big heart, and his love, deep love of our country. And I am firsthand witness that every day our President Joe Biden fights for the American people, and we are deeply, deeply grateful for his service to our nation.
Many Democrats also followed Biden in endorsing Harris, including former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. In her first half day as a candidate, Harris also broke fundraising records, racking up $49.6 million in online donations.
Meanwhile, in Houston, Texas Senator Ted Cruz sharing his own reaction to the president's decision, and he pointed south, blaming the border crisis on Vice President Harris.
Kamala Harris was named the quote-unquote border czar of the last 4 years. As the border czar, that's Joe Biden's term, not mine, she bears direct responsibility for the chaos at our southern border.
We have compiled a lot of different reaction to the president's announcement not to seek re-election, including comments from Congressman Joaquin Castro and Congressman Tony Gonzalez. If you want to watch those, scan the QR code you see there in the corner of your screen. That will take you straight to KSAT.com.
July 13th, we failed. I take full responsibility for any security lapse.
Today, the U.S. Secret Service director in the hot seat, facing intense questioning from lawmakers over the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. Kimberly Cheadle has already publicly acknowledged the failures of the Secret Service on July 13th. This was her first official testimony on Capitol Hill. Cheadle was questioned on why the event still went on even after agents noticed a suspicious man in the crowd.
I will move heaven and earth to ensure that an incident like July 13th does not happen again.
The job description, your task was to make sure it never happens, period.
The FBI and the Department of Homeland Security both conducting their own separate investigations into security failures. So far, no one has been disciplined in relation to that shooting.
We are in the upper 80s right now, and we got rain on the radar, Adam.
Yeah, some new showers just developed. If you're watching us at 5 o'clock, we were saying this is the zone, the area where we should start to see some development. When we finally are getting that development, we're talking Castroville toward Medina Lake Reservoir, up to almost Helotes, Government Canyon area, Leon Springs, Scenic Oaks, Fair Oaks Ranch, Bernie, Bergheim, Spring Branch. You get the idea. This is where we have the downpours. Some outflow boundaries came together, and we also have some lightning strikes. You see those little white lines? Those are the most recent lightning strikes within the past 15 minutes. So you see this come together over the past hour. Not a lot of activity up until we made it to about 5:45, and then it really started to flare up. And we are getting some of it around Canyon Lake, a little bit here on the north side of Canyon Lake, but especially along the Guadalupe River and its whole watershed area. We're seeing some of the downpours. So that's good to see. And this is a drought-stricken part of our area where we're getting some of these downpours. We anticipate this to build a little bit eastward even more over the next couple of hours. So that's what we'll be watching going forward, is this activity building its way eastward into more of San Antonio. We have more rainfall opportunities this week. We'll dive into that, talk about it, and how much rain has fallen and where in just a bit.
Okay, we'll see you then. Thanks, Adam. Let's take a look at traffic during the 6 o'clock commute. This is I-10 at Frio, and really it's slow going, but not too terribly backed up. You can see those orange barrels there off in the corner of the screen. Ongoing construction there along I-10. That remains a factor, but it's not backing up traffic too badly at this hour.
8 years. 8. That's how long a man was sentenced to prison for injuring a pregnant woman and her unborn child in a drunk driving crash. In January of last year, Mark Walton crashed into Reina Elizondo near the intersection of Zarzamora and Nogalitos. At the time, Elizondo was 10 weeks pregnant. She suffered a brain injury, and the crash caused her child to be born with disabilities. After sentencing, Elizondo's aunt read a letter from her to the court forgiving Walton for what happened that day.
I thank God for sparing not only my life and Alamar's life, but your life as well. I hope that one day you can come to forgive yourself and have a true encounter with Jesus.
Kind of hard to hear that, but what she said is, I thank God for not only sparing my life, but also for you having a true encounter with Jesus. That's the context of what she said. Walton must serve at least 4 years before he is eligible for parole. Elizondo's child is now 1 year old.
It's been several days and still problems at San Antonio International Airport because of that worldwide computer system outage that started last week. Delta Airlines says it's still having issues caused by that corrupt software update last Friday. The problem affected a lot of different industries. Delta had to cancel or delay hundreds of flights. One local family hoping to fly to Disney World has been grounded since Friday. They say their summer vacation now up in the air and not in the way they want it to be.
About the resort in Disney, I mean, we've wasted 3 days. I don't know that they're going to refund those or not. We are yet to see what's going to happen.
That has got to be so frustrating. Delta says it's working to get back up to speed as quickly as possible. We did notice a few flights on other airlines that were also behind schedule today. Both American and Southwest told us their issues have been due to weather.
After nearly 40 years, a restaurant on the far west side closing its doors. Today, the owners of the Acadiana Cafe announced that restaurant will close in August after being in business for 38 years. The Cajun and Southern style restaurant, known for its award-winning catfish and seafood, the owner said in a press release, it's been an honor to serve food to the community since 1986. That restaurant will be in business through August 29th. After more than 100 years of worship services, First Baptist Dallas downtown sanctuary sat quiet after being destroyed in a massive fire on Friday. It's their original sanctuary. But even that couldn't keep the congregation from coming together at a temporary site at the Dallas Convention Center. There, the pastor assured church members that that sanctuary will rise from the ashes.
And I am pledging to you, we're going to rebuild that sanctuary. We're going to recreate it as a standing symbol of the truth, the unchangeableness, the endurance of the Word of God. The grass withers, the flower fades, but the Word of our God shall stand forever.
He also thanked for more than 100 firefighters and police officers who responded to that fire in downtown Dallas. Investigators from the city and the ATF is still looking into the exact cause. They say it appears to have started in the building's basement. The pastor says insurance will cover rebuilding costs.
Happening later this week, it is Doc Talk, and this week it's all about kids. Scan this QR code to send us any medical questions you have related to kids care. We'll take those questions to a local pediatrician who will join us Thursday at 6:30. Still ahead here on the news at 6, teaching children about type 2 diabetes. Like this. After the break, see how a summer camp is making learning about that disease, the prevention of it, interactive.
And let's take a live look outside with live cam. A lot of chances for rain this week. Some parts of our viewing area are getting it right now. Meteorologist Adam Caskey would tell us when we can see more showers as the week wears on. Coming up.
City crews will soon start a construction project in Encino Park. Coming up tonight on the Night Beat, how this could help neighbors dealing with their drainage issues and what this could all look like.
The YMCA Greater San Antonio is teaching kids about preventing type 2 diabetes. They're partnering with Camp Project from the American Diabetes Association to do that. This camp teaches kids who are at risk for type 2 diabetes about nutrition and fun ways to be active. Things like bike riding, swimming, and yes, playing basketball.
We really want to introduce that activity, eating healthy can be easy. It doesn't have to be so hard.
According to Metro Health, diabetes is the 4th leading cause of death in Bexar County, and over 280,000 people in our area have that condition. This specific camp is happening at the Westside Family YMCA all week. Parents can learn more about it by heading to KSAT.com.
And today, the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center gave away a car to a local donor. Anyone who donated blood between May 13th and July 13th entered to win this brand new Ford Mustang. I like that color. We got a chance to speak with the man who won the car. He tells us while the new car's nice, it's important to donate blood to help save lives.
I would encourage the people to donate blood for the patients if they can. It's good things, and that's will be save the patient people life. That would be great.
Now, if you want to donate blood, you can sign up at southtexasblood.org or call 210-731-5590. The need is great.
Yeah, you did it recently, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe I was entered for a car and I didn't even know it.
Well, you didn't win.
Yeah.
But you gave. That's what matters.
That's right.
Steve is a regular there. He doesn't get the credit for it. He's not looking for the credit, but I have to say he is a regular at donating blood.
Do well with that.
It's so important.
It is.
I've had
so
family
quick.
members that needed transfusions, and you know.
And you get snacks.
And you get snacks.
You get snacks.
Gatorade. Yeah, it's all good.
Chips Ahoy cookies. Am I right? Am I right?
Exactly. Now you know why I really go.
Yeah, you do it for the snacks. Busted. I can see right through you, Steve.
Man.
No, rain chances, more opportunities all week. This is good to see. Anywhere from about 40 to 60% every day this work week is what we're looking at. And then rain chances really turn off as we get into next week. Here's a look at the radar from earlier today. And you saw earlier this morning the action was in the Hill Country, Edwards Plateau, and we even had some pop-up downpours in some areas yesterday at this time. Here's a look at authority radar right now. This is the heavy rain far west side of Bexar County. Far west side right there where you see the dark red and those little lightning strikes, the little white, what I call whiskers, because that's what they look like, those little white whiskers, those lightning strikes. Those are the heaviest downpours. And the fact that they are electrified with the lightning, it does tell us that they've been developing and they're not just a quick splash and dash. But you see just north of Castroville, Rio Medina getting the heavy rainfall. Now it's starting to develop into the SeaWorld area. And just like I was saying before, we're watching for some development and movement eastward. These really just drift and pop up and rain out and pop up and rain out. But as they rain themselves out, they kick out these outflow boundaries, which then help to pop up some new showers. And so we're seeing along 16 here, Bandera Road, and especially I-10. And check out this, 46. This is right now in Kendall County. Candelia all the way down almost into Bernie. Very heavy rainfall that is likely to drift toward Spring Branch. So Spring Branch, I do think you've got good chance of getting a taste of that. As for the actual rainfall rates, so if it was raining for an hour like this within these storms, say Bergheim, if it was raining for an hour, which it won't, but if it was, you'd pick up 4.6 inches of rain. That gives you an idea of just how much moisture is in the air and how heavy the rain is coming down. Those big tropical raindrops, 7.5 inch per hour rainfall rates just north of Bergheim and between Bergheim and Candelia. As for rainfall so far, this is just over the past 12 hours, okay? So not even the entire day. But you look over the past 12 hours and mid part of the city and county, not a whole lot, but you get up onto the northwest side, which, to be fair, is where we really need it the most in some cases. Let's get right here into the Scenic Loop area and check out these totals. Look at this. Already 2.1 inches. It just updated. I was going to say 1.8, and it's still raining, it's still coming down. So we're seeing some good, healthy accumulations in spots. We're just waiting for that activity to slowly keep building and drifting its way eastward to the rest of the city. And we do think there's a good chance of seeing that further development into the night. Futurecast is on board with that, even has it stratified a little bit the way it is right now. And those basically scattered downpours for about 3 or 4 more hours and then tapering off early in the morning tomorrow before we see more redevelopment after the morning commute. Redevelopment, scattered in nature, some embedded downpours, and really the only risk here is of minor street flooding, and that's about it. But it is an active pattern, especially relative to this time of year. But keep in mind, it doesn't, just because we have good rain chances doesn't mean it's going to be all day. It's intermittent, off and on in nature, and keeping our high temperatures down. We're talking upper 80s for afternoon highs the rest of this week. Tomorrow, 74 in the morning, 81 at noon, 86 the high temperature. And notice the best rain chances will be late morning through the early afternoon tomorrow. And it's good to see this. And like I said, stressing, not all day, every day, not for everybody, but lucky pop-ups.
All right. Thank you, Adam.
All right. Are the Spurs done wheeling and dealing? Well, that's still to be determined, but they are bringing back some familiar names.
Yes, Mamu. Fans love Mamu Kelashvili. When he had to start, 5 games in the season, he averaged nearly a double-double over that 8-game stretch with 5 starts. So the Spurs definitely wanted to bring him back. And Jeff Traylor, you know what? He has to pick a new starting quarterback this season coming up. Favorite Sandro Mamu-Kelashvili is coming back to the Spurs. The team made the announcement today saying they re-signed Mamu. It's a reported 1-year deal worth $2.2 million. Coach Pop praised Mamu many times last season and once said, quote, "He's like my favorite player end quote. All right, the Summer League Spurs wrapped up Las Vegas League play last night by beating the Raptors 100-89. Spurs guard Jamari Bouye had 7 points and sinking this step-back 3-ball. Donovan Williams led the Spurs with 16. Riley Minix had 14, getting 2 via this alley-oop jam. Spurs won by 11, and their Summer League head coach is one happy dude.
Extremely proud. Came out in Sacramento. 4-1. Had two tough games out in Sacramento, and these guys could have very easily just come out and done their own thing, and they didn't. They stuck together. They played for one another, and it showed out here in Vegas. In a consolation game here today, a game that didn't matter. There was no skin in the game for anybody. They came out and they played their butts off, and it wasn't one guy trying to do his own thing and show what he can do. They did it together, so I'm extremely proud.
The Spurs finished their Vegas Summer League schedule with 4 wins and 1 loss. UTSA head football coach Jeff Traylor stopped by the Texas High School Coaches Association Coaching School and Convention at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center. He wouldn't miss it for the world, saying he still considers himself a Texas high school football coach. Today, he was asked about his quarterback situation entering the new season now that Frank Harris is done with college football.
You can't overstate how important Frank Harris was to our program and what he's done. And still does, by the way. He's still our biggest supporter. I think he'll be the mayor of San Antonio one day. You know, there's a lot of great about Frank. The thing that Frank struggled with, he was such a competitor. He didn't avoid contact very much. So he was injured quite a bit in his career. So we've had to play a lot of quarterbacks through the last 4 years. And Eddie and Owen both got to play, quite a bit last year. And that's painful last year whenever you're trying to grow up new quarterbacks, but it's going to help us this year. We feel great about both those young men, whichever one we decide to go with, because they've got to play so much last year.
We're about 6 weeks away from the Roadrunners season opener at home with Kennesaw State. The Dallas Cowboys season opening presser scheduled for Wednesday in Oxnard, California has been moved to Saturday because team owner and general manager Jerry Jones will be in court in Texarkana. Jerry is going through a paternity case and he countersued the woman who alleges she is Jones' biological father. The trial begins today and is expected to last 4 or 5 days. After taking the day off yesterday, the Houston Texans were back on the field this morning for their 4th practice session since training camp kicked off last week. The intensity picked up today just hours before the Texans will put on the pads tomorrow.
You have to show up on purpose, right? You have to show up with an intent and a mindset to get better. And you've seen intensity pick up, and that's how camp usually goes. You kind of ease into it, and guys see what it's going to be like, and they start to just get more comfortable with what we're asking them to do, and that allows them to play a little bit faster.
I'll tell you what, the ice tubs were busy tomorrow.
Yeah. It's almost football time. It is. I love it. Yeah, thanks, Larry.
What do Texas delegates do now? How has their role changed now that Joe Biden is out of the race? We're going to talk about that next in our KSAT Q&A. A lot of questions after President Joe Biden stepped out of the race. A lot of focus now on the vice president. So how does that affect what's going on here in Texas? We're going to talk about that today with Maria Mendez from the Texas Tribune. Thank you so much, Maria, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So you do a lot of explainers on public policy and politics, and a lot of people looking for an explanation right now. So how do you think, if at all, the role of Texas delegates is changing now that we don't know who the official nominee is?
So Texas has a lot of delegates, 273. So theoretically, they could have a big impact in the Democratic National Convention selection process. But that is if there's still much of a process left for them to do. We don't know yet what the DNC is going to do exactly. They're meeting tomorrow to talk about that. But it seems like a lot of the Democratic Party is already rallying around Harris, so there may not be much drama.
Have you talked to any of the delegates, though? I mean, are they excited that maybe they'll have more of a voice than they would have normally, that even if it's backing Harris, they can make that clear now that this process has kind of been upended, for lack of a better word?
I think, yeah, a lot of Texas delegates have expressed support for Harris. And there have been a few, like notably Congressman Lloyd Doggett, who have called for more of party discussions instead of automatically rallying behind Harris. But the majority of Texas delegates have expressed support for her.
Kind of taking a step back here, we're well past the primaries, but let's talk about the role of delegates. The political process isn't exactly easy for people to understand. So what are delegates tasked with ahead of the convention, and who are these people? Who are delegates?
So the delegates are a mix of rank and file activists and elected party leaders. And some of them were elected through the state Democratic convention that recently happened. And basically the delegates, help nominate or officially choose a nominee for president. And historically, they've kind of just served as a rubber stamp following whatever voters in Texas decided during the primaries, but this is an unprecedented move, so we still have much to see about what will happen next.
It's something that's always talked about, no matter which party, whether it's Republicans or Democrats, the urge to be transparent in what they do and how they do that process. You said that the DNC is going to meet tomorrow and kind of have a discussion about what they want to do going forward. Will transparency be part of that discussion, do you think? And if you're comfortable alluding to what some of the options are going forward?
I'm not privy to what the DNC will do, but I will say like I said, some delegates, like Congressman Doggett, I think have called for more discussions. So I think there's definitely some delegates who want more transparency. But I don't have very many insights other than that.
You talked about how delegates are there to, carry out what voters decided in the primaries. I'm wondering, on behalf of people who voted, is there any concern that you're hearing about whether this unprecedented, and I don't know how many times we use that word, but whether this unprecedented move really kind of affects the impact that voters had, the say that they had going back to the primary?
I haven't personally talked to voters, so I can't really speak to that. But I think this has definitely awakened some Democratic voters. We have at the Texas Tribune generally heard from voters, some of who have said in our surveys that they were encouraged by Biden dropping out to vote, and just generally felt like there was more hope for the party.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that all plays out. And that's the question is, we're seeing more people participating in some of the polling that we're doing and some of the questions that we're asking. And I know that engagement is part of what you do there. Are you sensing a re-energization, I don't know if I even said that right, of both parties going forward?
We have heard from some Republican voters as well. But I haven't looked super closely at what they have said, but we're definitely seeing engagement from both sides of the aisle.
A lot of people watching, no matter who you plan to vote for. Maria Mendez, service and engagement reporter with the Texas Tribune. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. We'll be right back.
Around America, a White House task force is weighing in about how to keep kids safe online. Their new report recommends having open communication with kids about social media. Parents are encouraged to set up a family media plan to set expectations with kids about what they can watch and how long they can be on their devices. In the U.S., an estimated 95% of teenagers and 40% of kids ages 8 to 12 use some form of social media.
A third fire erupted Monday in Riverside County, California, just 10 miles from the Howerton fire that burned more than 500 acres. This new brush fire, the Columbia Fire, grew to nearly 57 acres this morning. By this afternoon, that fire about 75% contained. Evacuation warnings were lifted. No word on what sparked the Columbia blaze. Officials say the nearby Howerton fire was ignited by fireworks.
I heard it a lot over the weekend. This week ahead, we got rain chances. Take a look at that. We got some big dark clouds out there.
All right, listen, a lot of people complain about the fact that it seems like the rain always goes around San Antonio. That shows me it better start coming down here.
Okay, we need extra time for this because you're transitioning me into this whole bubble theory.
Yes.
Everybody has a theory. There's a bubble over their neighborhood or over their house. It's perception, okay? There's been research into it, not just here, elsewhere. There is no clear indication statistically proving that there's any bubble. It's just luck of the draw often when it comes to the rain. Now, along the Gulf Coast, you're right next to the main moisture source of our atmosphere, the Gulf of Mexico. So you do get slightly better odds there. But around town, no, we don't have any bubbles. And it's just usually just has to do with, I mean, we go through it ourselves here, even though we're meteorologists, that, it's perception and sometimes just memory. You don't always remember the times it nails you, but it's easy to remember the times it fizzles out right before you. And that happens. Now, we're seeing development now. Far north side, and especially into Kendall County and Comal County. This is a gully washer, an old-fashioned gully washer. From Candelia down to Bergheim, working its way into Spring Branch like we were talking about before. Good odds of that starting to make its way in there, and it is. And now over to Canyon Lake. And check this out. We have another outflow boundary pushing southward. That's this green line right here. That's basically an exhaust, if you will, like an exhale from distant thunderstorms, especially as they die and fizzle out. And it picks up insects and leaves and stuff like that. And it can be detected by radar because it's pushing those insects. So that we're seeing that outflow boundary push southward, and that's likely to develop new showers and storms momentarily. New Braunfels area, green between Bulverde and New Braunfels, and then thereafter Garden Ridge, Marion, that part of town. We're also seeing this development now into Alamo Ranch. So this is nice. Alamo Ranch, you are getting a good soaker at the moment. And the heaviest of the rain, boom, right here, this purple. Let's check it out near Brandeis High School. 1604 in Houseman. This is in the construction zone on 1604, and it's at least headed toward I-10 1604, which can be problematic with drainage, something to keep in mind if you're traveling in that area. We'll talk about the rest of the week in just a bit.
Today, a man was sentenced to 8 years in prison as part of a plea deal for a drunk driving crash that severely injured a pregnant woman and her unborn child. In January of last year, Mark Walton crashed into Reina Elizondo. Elizondo suffered a brain injury, and the crash caused her child to be born with disabilities. Walton must serve at least 4 years before he's eligible for parole.
Today, Mayor Ron Nirenberg posting on X that he will cast his vote as a national delegate for Vice President Kamala Harris at the DNC in August. The mayor said, quote, "There's no better candidate to defend our freedoms against Trump's warped vision for America. I will be proud to cast my vote as a national delegate for Kamala Harris," end quote.
A West Side restaurant is closing its doors. Today, the owners of Acadiana Cafe announced the restaurant will be closing in August after 38 years. The Cajun and Southern-style restaurant is known for its award-winning catfish and seafood. That restaurant will be in business through August 29th. And that's your 60-second recap.
Adam's been talking about ebbs and flows that we're going to see. If you look at a radar all day, you're seeing those ebbs and flows in our weather. And just within the last few minutes, Adam.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a good benchmark for expectations in the days ahead. It could be raining, off in the distance. You'll see the big rain shaft, big curtain of rain, but then you're not getting it at your house. Doesn't mean you won't have more opportunities. We have good opportunities this week overall. And I do want to point out west of San Antonio, Uvalde County, and we're seeing this broken line. That's an extension of what we've been talking about, this little boundary that's stretching from Bandera and even Canyon Lake, really, to Medina Lake, all the way down toward Uvalde, and then likely to get some further development along this boundary right here that stretches back toward Eagle Pass. As for San Antonio, in our neck of the woods and everybody around us, here's the latest radar. We just went into this in depth, but we are seeing some northeastward movement here. So this is headed into UTSA already getting hit, but also I-10 and 1604, and I mentioned the construction zone there. I know that sometimes that can lead to poor drainage, and so minor street flooding definitely possible, especially within those construction zones. But this is tracking eastward, so I am anticipating it to move across 1604, Chavano Park, Hollywood Park, parts of Stone Oak as well, getting the enhanced rainfall from this heavy downpour, and even that purple area, likely not even, it's probably not even hail within this. Often we look at the purples and we see it and think, uh-oh, we could have hail. It is unlikely to have hail in this scenario. Yes, we could have a little bit of hail, but probably not much and nothing really problematic or nothing damaging. This is just good old-fashioned heavy rainfall that's coming down. And actually, when we do analyze it, we like to look at the 3D view, which can give us an indication of whether or not we have hail overhead, and then we can even redraw it. Here we go. And it's been a while since we've had to do this to actually look for hail, but you get into the thunderstorm, you see how high they are, and these ones are up to about 35,000 feet, maybe 40,000 feet, on the borderline of even potentially having the hail. And we switch over to just the hail product. Normally we'd see the purple and black. We don't have that right now. So this is good. I like what we have. I like what we see out there in terms of just the heavy rainfall. But as for how much has already fallen, this is interesting. So this downpour just popped up over the past hour. And you look at 2 to 3 inches, San Geronimo toward Leon Springs. Get up into Bergheim to Candelia and check this out. We've got some high accumulations here. Bergheim, we're talking 2.2 inches. Even a little bit more, closer to 3 inches in Candelia. This is where we get into the reference of we'll have the downpours, but they're not going to be equal opportunity out there. And we're likely to have them for the next few hours into the evening. After midnight, the activity fizzles out. It's still some pop-up showers, but then it starts to redevelop again, especially after the morning commute tomorrow through the noon hour. We'll see some of that redevelopment, but it's going to be widely separated, and we'll have the downpours where you could get a quick 1 to 3 inches in a short amount of time, whereas 5-10 miles away, you barely get clipped by it. Temperatures, upper 80s for highs the rest of this week, so below average. The heat high, that's over the western U.S. right now. Vegas 111, Phoenix 109. That's where the heat is. That heat high will be moving in the days ahead, and by next week, it's basically overhead, and that's going to cut off our rain chances. So that disturbance that we have overhead, look at our pattern. By next week, another heat high moves back in, even if for just a few days. So plan for that. Our rain chances coming to an end next week. Otherwise, scattered pretty much all week. Good for July.
Yeah, cherish these chances.
Great for July. All right, some big discoveries, a timeless tent and a wedding gown. We'll tell you about it in the Buzz.
In the Buzz today, a couple claims they found part of a tent belonging to President George Washington. They found the item while searching Goodwill online. At the time, they bid $1,700.
Yeah, this is no Coleman tent. After confirming the tent is real, it is now estimated to be worth tens of thousands of dollars. For the time being, the couple donated the tent, or a piece of it, to the Museum of the American Revolution in Pennsylvania.
What a find.
Just off a highway in Iowa, a marital mystery unfolded. A woman found this wedding dress on the side of the road. The dress went from a ditch to her clothesline as she tried to find its rightful owner.
She posted all over social media, even went to the shop that made the dress, but no luck. So for now, the mystery continues and the dress waits for better or worse.
Got to be a story out there somewhere.
Yeah, this is how a podcast starts.
Yeah.
I can hear it.
All right, here's a timeline. This is starting to move eastward, so moving towards Stone Oak, Chavano Park, Hollywood Park. Stone Oak 709 for the heavier rain. Johnson High School even 717, Madison High School by 724. See you on the Night Beat.